Myths about INFJs. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. There's so many myths out there online about INFJs. If you just Google INFJ personality type, so many different things come up, and a lot of it just isn't true. So today we're going to be talking about the 3 biggest myths about INFJs. Stay tuned to find out what they are. Hi everyone, today we're talking about the 3 biggest myths about INFJs. Now INFJs, I think it's fair to say, are considered one of the most magical types of the MBTI personality system. If you look around on the internet, there are so many myths about INFJs. I hear about these myths all the time, I read about these myths all of the time, and so finally I said I just have to make a video on this to dispel some of these myths, because INFJs are pretty special, but we're actually not magical creatures, although we do have many special qualities. I wanted to do this video because I think a lot of the myths out there about INFJs actually aren't helpful to us. Some of them could be a self-esteem boost if we buy into them for a little while, but all of them ultimately I think really limit us in our potential. So I want to talk about 3 of the biggest ones I've seen. Myth number 1. INFJs are all-knowing sages. I see this one all the time. And I also have gotten this in my own life from other people who are not INFJs, who are reacting to my INFJ-ness, where I'll give them some really good advice, or I'll really sit down and listen to their problems, and at the end they say, "You're like Yoda, you're this all-knowing sage. I always feel like I can come to you." So INFJs are great counselors. That part is true. We do tend to give very good advice, and we're excellent with active listening skills. This is something that we don't need to be taught. We just do it, and we do it naturally. However, we are not wise, all-knowing beings. We don't know everything. And sometimes we actually don't know what's right for someone else, especially if we are attached to their outcome. This is a pitfall I see a lot of INFJs fall into. We're so great as counselors, we're so great at giving that advice until we really get attached to the other person following our advice. And then our neutrality goes out the window and our powers of wisdom sort of fall apart because we're too attached to what we think they should do. We have an agenda, so we start nudging them in that direction, and it's not good for us. And it's not good for them. It's not good for us to get controlling about other people taking our advice. And sometimes, honestly, we just don't know. We don't have enough information, or we just don't know, because we are not the Buddha. We are actually ordinary people who sometimes say the wrong thing, or don't know what to say, or give advice that doesn't apply that well to the person or their situation. And that's okay. We're just regular people. Myth number 2. INFJs can't be tricked. I've seen so many videos on YouTube about this one. I actually did a video a few weeks ago about how INFJs can spot liars. So it's sort of in a similar vein, but the videos I'm talking about that I see sort of imply that INFJs have like this psychic X-ray vision, and we can see through anyone and anything, and it's impossible to trick us. You can never pull the wool over our eyes. We immediately know when someone's lying. We immediately know when someone's a narcissist. This has a bit of truth to it. This is somewhat true. Like I said, I did that video myself on how we spot liars, because INFJs are very good at spotting liars. However, what I really don't see talked about a whole lot is that INFJs have a definite weakness for narcissists. I see a lot of INFJs attract narcissists, but there's not a lot of truth telling about the fact that we have a weakness for narcissists, and we don't often spot narcissists when they walk into our lives. We can definitely be tricked by narcissists, especially if someone plays on our guilt or shame issues. This is sort of the kryptonite for the INFJ. Almost every INFJ has very strong and very deep guilt and shame issues. And if someone walks in to our life like a narcissist and makes us feel bad about that, or finds those buttons to push that triggers that within us, those thoughts of we might be a bad person, we don't deserve this, we don't deserve that, we're not good enough, or we need to make up for something, that can definitely push us into territory where we are easily taken advantage of. And most narcissists are very adept at playing on the guilt of others. So they're very good at pushing other people's buttons. When INFJs feel guilty about something, we will do a lot of things that are not in our best interest. We will shut down our intuition. We will not listen to the voice in our mind that says this is not good, this is not right, this is not in your best interest. We'll go against that. And yes, we will be tricked. Again, we are not superhuman creatures. We are regular, ordinary human beings. Myth number 3, INFJs are always understanding and compassionate. This is one of those myths where it can be a self-esteem boost because, of course, everyone wants to think of themselves as an understanding and compassionate person. And there is a great deal of truth in this. Most INFJs are very understanding and compassionate people. However, I do think this myth is one of the most damaging myths of all because it ends up setting up an impossibly high standard that we can't ever reach. And most INFJs already struggle with perfectionism. We are already trying to reach impossibly high standards that we've set for ourselves. So this is just another one added to the heap. Now, while INFJs do display strong compassion and understanding for others, as I mentioned, we also have bad days. Again, we are just ordinary humans. If we are stressed or overwhelmed, we can be very grumpy. We can be cold to others. And when an INFJ is being very cold to the people around them, that's a sure sign that they're stressed. They have very low energy. They might be ill. We can be dismissive. We can be resistant. INFJs have a big fat streak of stubbornness in us, and that can really be triggered when we're not feeling well. So we can become very resistant. If we're stressed on an ongoing basis, then we can be all of these things on an ongoing basis. Grumpy, cold, dismissive, resistant. Again, we're not perfect people, and that's the whole point. Because I think so many INFJs have set up this ideal for themselves of, I'm an INFJ, I'm supposed to be the most understanding, compassionate person on the planet who sees through everyone and is never tricked and is always the counselor and always wants to listen to other people and gives great advice. Sometimes we are that. But a lot of times we're just ordinary human beings, and when we try to make ourselves adhere to that sort of ideal image, it doesn't make us feel very good and it's not very helpful. It doesn't serve us. So by realizing there are these myths about our personality type, we can relax and we can stop judging ourselves so hard. Because that's something about INFJs that is not a myth. That is too true, that INFJs are relentlessly hard on themselves. We judge ourselves so harshly, other people wouldn't even believe it. If they saw what was going on inside our heads and the way we judge ourselves, they would be shocked because almost every INFJ is judging themselves 24/7. So we really don't need any more judgment added onto that. We're just all people and we struggle like anyone else. It's all okay. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, subscribe. That stuff really helps the channel. I really appreciate it. Please also subscribe to my newsletter. I send out tons of information for INFJ personality types, INFP personality types, writers and artists, all sorts of creative beings. I talk about intuition and creativity and writing and energy and personality type and so many more other things. So please sign up for my newsletter. I do frequent classes and courses that are also a lot of fun, and a lot of cool people show up for them. So please look into that as well. Make sure you are on the newsletter. Thanks so much, everyone. I'll see you next time.